Let's be honest, buying a used car can feel like rolling the dice. You type "best used cars" into Google and suddenly you're drowning in lists written by people who've never turned a wrench in their life. Some of those lists even recommend Chrysler sedans as great long-term investments. If you've ever talked to a mechanic, you know how ridiculous that sounds. Nobody who's had to fix those things on a weekly basis would ever call them reliable. That's the problem. Most of the advice online isn't written by people who actually know what breaks, what lasts, and what ends up draining your wallet. And that's exactly why we're breaking it down today. The top 3 used cars that are actually worth your money. Not based on internet hype, not based on brand loyalty, but on real-world experience and thousands of hours under the hood. Now, before we dive into the list, here's one rule you need to remember. Cheap doesn't mean good. In fact, most of the time, cheap means trouble waiting to happen. The cars we're about to go over might cost you a little more up front, but here's the thing. They'll save you thousands down the road. And when it comes to used cars, it's not about the sticker price. It's about how many miles you'll get, how much you'll spend keeping it alive, and how often you'll be stranded on the side of the road. So buckle up, because we're going straight into the top 3 used cars you should actually buy. Number 3, the 2013 Honda Civic. Let's kick things off with a car that practically built its reputation on outlasting its competition, the Honda Civic. Think about it. When was the last time you saw an old Civic parked on the street with a for sale sign, and it didn't have 200,000 miles already on it? Exactly. These things are legendary for a reason. The 2013 model in particular stands out. It's small, lightweight, and built with the kind of reliability Honda became famous for. Here's what makes the Civic a standout: engines that don't quit. Honda's 1.8-liter 4-cylinder isn't flashy, but it's nearly bulletproof. With regular maintenance, people squeeze 300,000 miles out of these without breaking a sweat. Fuel economy that saves you every day. Even 10 years later, you're getting mid-30s miles per gallon. Compare that to a used SUV, and you're saving hundreds, sometimes thousands on fuel every year. Appeals to everyone. Young drivers love Civics because they're easy to customize and fun to drive. Families love them because they're dependable, practical, and cheap to insure. And that insurance point matters. New cars cost more to insure because the company knows they'll have to buy you another brand new car if something happens. But with a used Civic, you're paying a fraction. Add in the fact that it's a 4-cylinder and you're looking at some of the lowest insurance rates out there. Now, people will tell you, but Civics are expensive used, they hold value, and that's true. You'll probably pay more up front than if you grabbed, say, a Dodge Dart. But here's the thing, that Dart is going to start nickel and diming you with repairs in year 3. The Civic? It'll still be running strong a decade later. So while it looks like you're paying more now, in reality, you're buying peace of mind and saving money over the long haul. And if you need proof of how tough Civics are, just look at the tuner community. These cars get pushed to the limit, turbocharged, raced, tuned within an inch of their lives, and the engines keep taking it. That kind of resilience means the average Civic driven normally will last way longer than most people ever expect. So yes, the Civic is more than just cheap transportation, it's a smart investment. But as good as it is, it's not the only Honda worth buying. Because if you want something bigger, with more space for the family, the next one on our list is for you. Number 2, the 2012 Ford Fusion. Wait, a Ford? Yep. And I'll tell you why. The 2012 Ford Fusion might just be one of the most underrated used cars on the market right now. And the reason has a lot to do with timing. Around this era, Ford was working closely with Volvo, borrowing a lot of their design and engineering influence. That meant better safety, tighter suspension, and overall better build quality than most people expected from a Ford sedan. Here's what makes the Fusion worth your time: solid reliability. Unlike its big brother, the Taurus, the Fusion didn't suffer from those notorious transmission issues. These cars were built tough, and it shows in how many are still on the road today. Comfortable and spacious? If you've ever driven one, you know it feels a lot more refined than you'd expect. It's roomy without feeling like a boat. Affordable to buy? Because Ford doesn't make sedans anymore, they pulled the plug on everything except the Mustang. Used Fusions are going for cheaper than their actual value. People see discontinued and think it's a risk. In reality, Ford still makes parts, so you're getting a bargain. That discontinued factor is actually a blessing. When automakers stop selling a model, the used market panics. Values dip, resale drops, and that's exactly when smart buyers swoop in. And because the Fusion was a solid car to begin with, you get the benefit of lower prices without sacrificing reliability. It's not the flashiest pick, but that's the beauty of it. While everyone else is chasing overpriced Hondas and Toyotas, the Fusion flies under the radar. You'll get dependable transportation, lower insurance rates, and a car that doesn't constantly ask for repairs. And if you need one more reason, the ride quality. Seriously, drive one. The Fusion doesn't feel like an economy car. It feels planted, smooth, and stable, even at highway speeds. When you compare it to some of the other mid-size sedans of its era, it feels like a clear step up. So if you're the type who doesn't care about following the crowd, the Fusion could be your smartest move. But if you're looking for the ultimate balance of reliability, resale value, and proven long-term performance, then the number one spot shouldn't surprise you at all. Number 1, the 2012 Honda Accord. Here it is, the king of the hill, 2012 Honda. The 2012 Honda Accord. Now, I know what some of you are thinking. Wait, didn't Honda have transmission problems? And you're right. From 2005 to 2010, Honda's automatic transmissions had a serious design flaw. But here's the key. By 2012, Honda fixed the issue. And the result is one of the most dependable sedans you can buy. Let's break it down. Proven reliability. I've seen customers drive these Accords past 300,000 miles, sometimes even 400,000. That doesn't happen by accident. The 4-cylinder sweet spot. Sure, the V6 versions give you more power, but the 4-cylinder models last longer, use less fuel, and still feel quick enough for daily driving. Family-friendly without being boring. It's a 4-door sedan, yes, but it doesn't drive like a minivan. It's zippy, comfortable, and stylish enough that you don't feel like you gave up fun just to be practical. And here's something people forget. When you buy a good used car, you're not just saving money up front. You're saving money every single year you own it. Repairs, insurance, fuel, it all adds up. And that's where the Accord shines. Think about it. You can grab one of these for a reasonable price, maintain it well, and drive it for a decade or more. That's thousands of dollars in savings compared to someone who buys a cheaper, less reliable car and ends up replacing it in 3 or 4 years. And let's not overlook resale value. Hondas hold their value better than most, which means when you finally do decide to sell, you'll get more back compared to almost any other brand in the same class. This car really is the definition of buy it once, keep it forever. If you've ever wondered why the Honda Accord shows up on so many best used car lists, this is why. It's not hype, it's hard evidence. Conclusion, so let's recap. The 2013 Honda Civic is the go-to for anyone who wants small, efficient, and bulletproof. The 2012 Ford Fusion is the underrated middle child, affordable, reliable, and overlooked, which makes it a smart buy. And the 2012 Honda Accord? That's the ultimate all-rounder. Dependable, family-friendly, and capable of lasting decades if you treat it right. The truth is, used cars are all about value over time. Don't just look at the sticker price, look at what it's going to cost you over the next 5, 10, or even 15 years. That's why these 3 cars make the cut. At the end of the day, a good used car isn't just transportation. It's freedom from constant breakdowns, endless repair bills, and the stress of wondering if your car will actually start in the morning. And that kind of peace of mind? You can't put a price on it. So if you're in the market for a used car, skip the hype, ignore the internet lists that recommend junk, and stick with proven winners. Because when it comes to cars, reliability isn't boring, it's everything.